Hi everyone, this is episode 445, wow, OotiniCast being recorded on August 16th of 2022. I'm Chill and Kitty's with me too. We're going to start the official podcast in a minute. This is the pre-show. This is the raw version of the show that we stream live, and this eventually will also go out on YouTube. Then we take the audio, clean it up a bit, edit as necessary, and that will go out as a podcast tomorrow. And let me see, let's go ahead and since we're basically at the top of the hour, let me go ahead and tweet this out, let everyone know that we're rolling.
Tweet it, baby!
We'll pretty much roll right into this puppy. All right. Live.
16th?
Yeah. 445 episodes.
Man,
let's see.
I got my my months, the number of the month messed up, and thought I didn't pay my bills. Looking at it, going, oh, I swore I pay my bills, and it said 8 blah 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 on it, and I thought it was 9 blah blah blah.
Oh no!
Like,
can you actually turn down your mic a little bit? Because I did turn it down, the desktop audio, and it's still coming in pretty hot, and it's starting to fuzz out a little bit when you talk.
Check.
Okay, I think that's a little better. It's
Let
still
me
pretty
do
high.
it on Discord.
Okay, that might help.
Boop.
Maybe Discord's sort of taking over. Oh, and we have to do. I haven't done Audacity yet.
I got mine going already.
Okay, good.
How do I don't even know how to turn my own volume down on it.
I haven't done it in such a long time because I don't like to. I can't mess. Unfortunately, I have a very. This mic is great, but it's very specific, and if it's off by like 1 or 2%, it completely changes how it sounds. And so I try not to mess with volume. So I can't help you with that. I'm afraid.
How's this then? I'll just turn down on the Rodecaster.
Okay, go ahead and talk.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah.
I declare the war.
Yep, it's not fuzzing out anymore. Perfect. All right. And let's see, my Audacity is going as well. Test, looks good. I think we're ready to go. And since we're at the top of the hour, we should go.
I'll do some popping and locking while you have it.
Pop and lock vamp. All right, going on 5. Hi, and welcome to the OotiniCast, the podcast that was going to go to Tashi Station to pick up some power converters. This is episode 445, being recorded on Tuesday, August 16th, 2022. I'm your host, Chill, and with me is my co-host, KittyKissz. Hey, Kitty, how you doing?
Hey, Chill.
And what you been up to since the last show? Well, I know some of it, but let's let the audience know.
All right, so I have actually been up to a whole bunch. Sadly, not as much gaming as I wanted to do, particularly SWTOR, because as you know, we have moved our we have moved all of our stuff, our streaming stuff, over to one side, and the plan was we would have a gaming machine, right, and so which we do. So we're running 3 machines for the stream, and then Kitty would have her machine that she would game on, and then I would have a machine that I would game on, and then we would just kind of use one computer strictly for doing any dedicated to just streaming software and stuff like that.
Okay.
So that we could, run the game as hard as we wanted to, and
right,
kind of have fun with it.
Yeah.
We're nerds, and we're both like, what, let's see.
This sounds really cool. Yeah. And it is cool.
It is. I'll
when it works.
that in a second.
Right.
So there was a lot of bumps.
Okay.
First of all, switching over from one station, like I had my computer set up on a completely different side of the room. We moved it over. That took a long time for us to do it.
Okay.
To have it ready to go. Then we had to figure out, because we couldn't find anything online about 2 streaming machines or 2 gaming machines into a third machine. The majority of people are doing a computer into a designated streaming machine.
Okay.
So Kitty did an amazing job of actually getting it all to work. And then we figured out the audio, so we thought, and it turned into a pain in the ass. So
okay, in what way? What happened? Yeah.
Well, you hear the term, mo money, mo problems. Yeah. mo PC, mo problems.
Right.
So you figure that anything that can go weird on one machine,
right,
then you times it by 2 because you have 2 machines.
Right.
Well, let's times that by 3.
Right.
To have 3 machines.
Yeah.
They're all set up different.
Or even square it. Yeah.
It is a nightmare. So when I was playing and I was streaming, I was constantly having to fiddle with stuff and fine tune it, which is fine because I knew that was going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And fine tuning, it's just part of the game, right?
Right.
That's fine. But it just became that I couldn't play the game without messing with sound or video or something, and then trying to stream. And I mean, you were there for 2 days of it,
right.
And it just eventually, I just went, I can't do it. So for the last 2 days, I have been transferring everything again because if you remember, I switched from OBS Streamlabs to OBS Studios, which was a huge. It was an issue. It was a thing. Too bad, but
but it was a process.
Now, so I had it all set up, all fine, worked out all the bugs, blah blah blah, and now I'm going to ditch one of the machines.
Right.
And
you're
I
going to
put everything on my gaming machine that I'm using right now.
Okay.
So now I'm having to redo it. And it's
on the Streamlabs, or which one are you doing now?
I'm not going back to Streamlabs.
Okay.
I'm in love with OBS Studios.
Okay, great.
Luckily for me, through years of computer nerdness, I've started filing things that, in a way that makes sense, which was a Hail Mary when I started transferring stuff over, because I'm like, oh yeah, that's all makes all kinds of sense.
Thank goodness.
And I was able to transfer some of the majority of stuff from OBS over from one machine to the other. But of course, because it's not identical, OBS doesn't know where to look for stuff. So I'm having to redo that and doing the same thing with Stream Deck. But it's not that bad. Okay. But it's taking a little time. But I gave up on at least for now.
Right. So for now you'll be on 2 computers, one for you, one for Kitty Treats.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, we're gonna do it that way.
Okay.
And I mean,
well, I suppose if you
we'll see what happens.
Right, if you basically just drop the least powerful computer, that's probably going to work pretty well, I would imagine.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. I mean, and that thing is a beast. I think I might have to buy some more RAM, but I want to buy more RAM.
Nice.
So that's been eating my life. So hopefully, fingers crossed, tomorrow I'm going to be starting streaming on this machine, working out the bugs throughout the week.
Okay.
Hopefully by the weekend everything's all set up and ready to go, and it'll all be fine, which is fine.
Yeah.
And then a lot of people will come into streams. I'm sure that you've had this too, and ask questions about streaming. And I always
sometimes
tell them, just learn how to start Googling stuff about streaming, because you are going to need to fix stuff on the fly. And thank God that I've done this so many times now. It's like, I got it down. I'm like, I know where files are. I can do it quick and blah, blah, blah. But man, if you're looking into streaming, get good at Googling about streaming, because that's your saving grace. That's what you need. You and I did some PvPing.
Oh yeah.
You, me, Kitty. I think DL was there, and Antal. That was so much fun.
Yeah. Smooth Wolf's there. And they, so we're doing Lobby right now, PvP. We haven't gotten to like the second, we're 10 to 43 or 44, whatever it is nowadays. And then, we'll have to try Hybe soon, but we're quite a ways away on those characters. It's
really fun.
Yeah, it's very fun. It hasn't been popping very quickly, though, so I'm hoping that we'll get more pops. Actually, today I was doing more Lobby PvP, even though it was the middle of the day, but I think because it was Tuesday and we just had the reset, for people's missions, I think there was a little bit more, a few more people doing it, because I got some pretty reasonable pops today. And but it's been a lot of fun, and because of that, we've been able to see the Nightlife event a lot, and a
lot.
I have not had a lot of luck, not yet anyway. Not a lot of luck. Well, I'll talk more about it in a sec. But how's the Nightlife been going for you?
It's been going okay. So I usually set my expectations kind of low as far as me being lucky and winning things. Right. Especially, for the Nightlife event. So this year I'm like, all I want is the glasses. If I get the glasses, I'm good.
I know. I still want those
glasses.
Too. That's nice.
Got 2 glasses.
That's right. But you can't do much with the other one. It's legacy bound, right?
Yeah,
the glasses
it's legacy bound.
Which is lucky, because at least once you get them once, you can pass them around and put them on whatever you want with the outfitter. And you're kind of good at that point. So I haven't gotten my first one yet, though.
I know when
not
I
last year, not this year.
I wish I could give it to you.
I know. I appreciate the thought.
What else?
Get anything else cool?
Got a couple Vectrons. I think I'm up to 16 Vectrons now. Maybe 14, something like that.
Kitty's used car lot out there.
Yeah, exactly. You won a Vectron. You got it. We'll make a deal. What else have I been doing? I got a care package from Jackie.
Yes.
And Swotor.
And so did I. So we ended up, we have OotiniCast as part of the creators program, but your stream in particular is a separate one as well. So we each got one, and there was some really nice stuff in there. So. Journal of the Journal of Master Nostoral. Yeah.
We got some posters. We got some pens.
Yeah.
And we got this.
Yes, that was interesting. It's the Star Wars Insider from I think it was early this year, and it's the one with Malgus on the cover. We even talked about it on the show a little bit, but I didn't happen to get it or see it at any I didn't happen to be at any newsstands or anything, so I didn't get that one. And,
it sold out
It sold out very quickly. I understand. Yeah, it's very cool. Very, very nice. The T-shirts were nice too. There's
T-shirts.
Onslaught. I like the Onslaught one because it has the SWTOR symbol in blue and red, very large and bright on the front. I like that one especially, but the other one's nice too. It's more the style they've given out before with all the yellow lettering and the. It does have a SWTOR symbol and the little what do you call them, like the class symbols around it.
Right.
So yeah.
I don't know why I didn't wear one. I should have put one.
I've been wearing them, but I just didn't. I didn't think to grab one today.
I wanted to say a very big thank you to Jackie. I know
thank you to Jackie.
She wanted to put that together for a long time,
right?
And they've been so busy, and I just wanted to say thank you.
Yeah, it's very cool.
I was so happy. I was just so stoked, and I think it's very, very considerate of her to think of us and send that out. So thank you, Jackie.
Yeah. Yes, thank you, Jackie. So that was a lot of fun. Did you do anything with that on stream? Did you it open on stream or anything like that?
Yeah, I opened it on stream.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
Yeah, it was really. And you know what's funny is that, we knew that there was a care package about, and finally, I forgot about it.
Mm-hmm.
So when I went outside, I'm like, oh crap, because I send stuff to Marcus. Like I sent him a bidet. I sent him
that's right.
A picture of me and Kitty, like a framed painting of me and Kitty. So I thought it was Marcus.
Ah.
I was like, oh, what did Marcus get me? And I kind of shook it around.
Funny.
I'm like, ooh, what is that? But yeah, so that was interesting. But all in all, keep him busy and all that stuff. I can't wait to play SWTOR. I can't wait to get in it without the headache of all the streaming and the spinning of plates and stuff again. So.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Are we planning on doing PvP tomorrow then? Or are you or do you need another day to sort of get things locked in?
What? Let's just play it by ear.
You can play it by ear. Awesome.
Yeah, send me a text, and if I can, I would love to.
Yeah,
it'd be fun. But that's about it for me, Chill. I think we have a stream chat roll call.
Yeah, let's do that. All right. So let's see. We have Bo Froley, Boy Scout 1971, Evans 041111, Gator Skull 1289, Graf Mal, Lizzie Beth, Lori Pub, Mikey Likes It, N7 _alpha, Squishy Twitchy, and Yollyblocks are all showing. And thanks everyone for coming. And let's see. So what I've been doing, mostly I have been doing leveling via PvP. Some with you, and I've also made a separate character. Also on the Republic side, I just figured I might end up needing to cross over or whatever. Like I thought, well, if you wanted to do more of the PvP leveling on your own, and then if you got ahead, then maybe you get to the high B level, and that way if I had another one already there, it'd be, we could join up again just on a different character. That was the idea I had in my head. So anyway, I made a second character. He's a Terminator cosplay. He's size 3, male, just exactly what you'd expect. I found I can't remember the name of it, but it's a jacket that, when you dye it black looks enough like the motorcycle jacket from T2. And
I think I know what one you're talking about.
Yeah, and I have one of the pairs of black goggles that stand in for the sunglasses. It's a lot of fun. He also is a commando, so both the character I'm playing with you, who's like a Jinx cosplay, and also this one are both commandos with the assault cannons. Except one's body size male 3, the other one's female 1, so they're like as opposite size as you can be. So since we're doing the Nightlife event, what I found out is if you're body size 1 female, you can actually fit between the Kingpin machines. So if you're playing the Kingpin's machines, you can just move your character between them and then play one, play the other, and it works great. Meanwhile, the male one can't do that. Can't really find a spot anywhere to play 2 of the machines without moving around all the time. Same with the smuggler's machines. He's like so bulky and awkward.
Yeah. We tried to do some...
So I never thought about that, but your body size actually makes a difference in the Nightlife event.
Yeah.
But so... And I think the Jinx characters like in the mid-20s. We've managed to at least get them up a little ways. And for the other character, because I was doing that solo, after a while because I wasn't doing it with you and there wasn't any like chit chat happening, it was just me, vamping all the time. I eventually got tired of just being at the Nightlife event with him because it was taking a little while between pops, because depending on what time of day it was and stuff like that. And it was like my idea was that I do it that way, but in practice, like having 10 and 15 minutes and sometimes longer between Warzone pops means that's a lot of Nightlife event and not a lot of anything else. So I am actually leveling him up doing the story now. So we take him back to the Nightlife event when he's got a few Emperor coins to turn in, but he's now also leveling up through story. He is, where did I get him through? Early Act 2, and I think he's 39. He's leveling pretty well now because if I do have the war zones popping, and they were popping really well today, like I said, I think because of the weekly reset. So fair bit of experience from that, and then also doing regular like leveling type stuff, and it went really, it's going pretty quickly. So
what combat spec are you running?
I think it actually is called combat. It's like it's the commando, and it's called gunnery.
Arsenal.
Gunnery. I think it's called gunnery on that side, or something like that. Anyway, yeah, it's the direct damage one, not the dot one. So, and it's not the healing one. Cool. And it's not necessarily ideal. Like I would say, like if you want to win or if you want to be really effective at low levels, I noticed like the Marauders are really nasty even at this level. Like they do a lot of damage,
Really
and,
nasty.
and they have some ways to get on top of you with their jumps and stuff like that. I did finally get like the knockback ability. I've been able to use that in some cases to turn war zones, especially like for ones like the Mandalorian arena where there's a high level, and then they get knocked off, and if they get knocked off, they're out of the fight for a little while they get back up. It can really turn a fight for sure. But there's other classes that can do that sort of thing too. But that's been a lot of fun actually. And let's see. So and I haven't been doing like flirting on him because he's a Terminator. So, which is kind of sad because I actually do like the flirting options on the smuggler. But in this case though, I'm actually seeing it in a way I haven't seen it before because I almost always flirt, especially on smugglers, male and female. But he's part of the fun. He's not really he's not a flirter, so I'm getting to see a few options that I haven't seen before.
That's cool.
Yeah. So, like I said, we've got him past the end of Act 1 into Act 2, and then we're on Balmora now. We're about halfway through Balmora. The notes are a little bit behind. And anything else? There's a couple of things I've noticed during the PvP we'll talk about in the tip of the week. But as far as the Nightlife event, I have not had much luck. I've gotten like one of the pets, like the shiny, the shiny Ginks or whatever it is. It was just pretty cool. I've gotten one of the weapons, one of the new Nightlife purple gold weapons. This happened to be the sniper rifle, which I can't use yet really, but I have one at least. Really nothing else of interest. Everything else I've gotten has been from past events. A couple of the claw pets, which at least are still somewhat, they're still pretty rare. I've gotten 2 of those total. One I got even before last show, and then I happened to get one more since then. But
at least
like
that one you
else.
can give to different characters.
Yeah.
It's kind of stuck on one character, but if you have multiple,
claws,
share the wealth.
Share the wealth a little bit, exactly. So not much luck. However, for whatever reason, like the one I've been playing with you, Jinx, she's like really low on Kingpin tokens. He's gotten like tons of Kingpin tokens from the Emperor's chips, like the Kingpin times 50. Yeah, he's got like 700 tokens now. He's way up there, and for whatever reason, just coincidence, I guess, just random is random.
Yeah.
So she just hasn't been getting very many of those, and I've even had to buy her some Kingpin chips just to keep it going sometimes. Yeah, it's like, wow, and it's like, they've gone up in price too. They've turned it into a bit more of a money sink. They are expensive, but anyway, it's been fun. The only other thing I've really been doing and haven't been very good about the last few days, but I've been doing a fair bit since the last show, is trying to get my gear from 326 to 330 on my mains. Basically do some dailies every day, and that's what I've been, or almost every day, and basically that's the way I'm going to get them there, because I'm not doing enough flashpoints and operations or whatever, or war zones on them to get it up any other way. So I figure, okay, I'd do a daily or 2 a day, or maybe more sometimes, and then that will eventually add up to and it's kind of working, because I've gotten one of the implants upgraded twice. I've got the other special implant upgraded one more time. I need a few more tech points, and then those will be 330, although you can actually take those further, but at least it'll be up to the 30 level. And then I've done the main and offhand, head, wrist. I think I'm like still have quite a ways to go actually. And I was not doing Manon because I wasn't giving any of the daily resources, but now it is, so I should be going back to that, although I haven't really yet. But it'll be nice to see those too, because anytime there's like a new daily area, it's like, great, okay, let's do that one, because we haven't seen it so much.
They don't take too long to run either. They're pretty quick. Get pretty efficient at them. Some of the dailies I know give 25 instead of just 20 of the daily matrix shards or whatever. So
is that true? I thought most of the daily airs were 25 for the actual weekly turn in.
Yeah, there's some
There's
of
a couple
just
20s?
regular planetary ones are just 20. Like
like the heroic.
Easy
Okay,
is,
like the heroic ones, like do
yeah.
blank heroics on Balmora or do blank heroics on Alderaan or whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're
they're
right.
like
Those are
Easy,
20.
Black Hole.
Yeah,
Those are 25.
right. All the
so
ones that
we-
are like special, like special actual
Yeah.
daily areas. But if they're heroics, like heroic planetary
Right.
ones, those get
They're
you
just
20. Yeah, but you get a fair amount from the heroic as
Yeah.
well. So there's that too. Let's see. So and the general plan is like towards the end. Right now I'm still playing mostly the efficient way. Play the smuggler, get the buff, get a few kingpins along the way, then go when I've got the buff, go to the kingpin machine, burn it down, and rinse and repeat. However, towards the end, at some point, I'm just gonna have to burn down all those Kingpin tokens, especially on the Terminator character, because there's gonna be way too many of them to burn it down the other way. And
You're gonna get it.
yeah, hopefully we'll get. Hopefully, it's funny. I still think the goggles are the thing I want, even though those were from last year. Some of the weapons are pretty cool too, though. I do like the weapons, though.
Yeah.
Since you can technically buy them on the GTN, at least I feel like, okay, if I really think this is like the perfect weapon for this character, at least I have some other way to get it. With goggles, there's no other way. You got to get it now, or you just can't get it. You can't buy it from the vendors. You can't. There's no other way to get it. Maybe eventually it'll be on the vendors, but I don't think that'll happen at least until the next one, and that's next year. So
Yeah.
anyway. All right, so let's get on to the tip of the week, and let's see. So I just did a tip this time. So if you're doing leveling PvP, yeah, of course it's going to be about leveling PvP. So it turns out augments do work, and they do rank up. So even though low-level augments only give a few, very, very minor stats, once you go into the war zone, they actually get ballooned up into level 80 sort of stats, essentially. But it can only do that if you have some sort of augment on there. So if you put augments on your gear, you will definitely notice an increase. Stims do not rank up, so they're kind of useless at low levels, but feel free to use them anyway, or wait until you get higher levels, whatever. Even I tried those versatile stims that you get from the logins. Every once in a while you get 5 of these versatile stims, and you hover over them and you'll see, okay, every 10 levels they become worth more. And you'd think, oh, okay, I'm going into Warzone, I'm being bumped up to level 80, the stim will be bumped up. No, it won't.
Nope.
It stays at your level 20, or whatever you are. So that one, it's kind of a waste to use those, unfortunately, in this way. But it's okay. I also found out, though, that gearing does matter. Yes, you need to have something in every slot for sure, so that it can actually bump you up based on the fact that you have something in that slot at all. But the actual level of gear does matter. It's not just being leveled up automatically to one level, and then a higher level if you have augments. It's not quite like that. It does, in fact, change your stats if you have better gear in your slots at low level, and then go in. Because what I did is I had a couple of my I took a couple of my implants that were kind of falling behind, because these are the level 10 or something like that, and that I did augment, and then eventually I got better ones. But it's well, is it going to make a difference in the war zone? Well, I tested it out, and I swapped them out. I swapped out the low-B ones with the augments for higher level ones that did not have augments, and my stats did go up. So the augments were helping, but so was actually getting better gear. So it is ranking you up, but it's not going to do it just to a static level, depending on whether you have something in your slot or not. It's actually going to take into account what level of your gear you have. So
Interesting.
So yeah, so augments
Gear
do help.
does matter.
Yeah, if you're trying to min max your PvP low B leveling, definitely use augments, especially if you have crafters and they can just make some of those little augment kits and make some of those little low B augments. Great, and do that, and you will definitely notice a difference. But keep your gear up as well. So anyway, so that is the tip of the week. If you have a tip of the week, send it to OotiniCast@gmail.com before the next show for a chance to win a Tonfon or M8 3R droid pet code, or the M2B9 droid code courtesy of BioWare, plus a 450 CC code from them as well. And Kitty, why don't we go ahead and do a couple of prize codes here?
Let's do it.
Let's do, let me see, we have Well, there is the Opal mount, but we do also have the Volptilla pet codes as well. So let's do one of each.
Randomizing is Lori Pub.
All right, Lori Pub. How do you spell that?
I will put it in chat for you.
Which chat?
I will put it in the Discord.
Okay. I will. Well, okay. There we go.
There we go. It's in there.
Okay.
Congratulations, Lori Pub.
All right. Let's see. Let me go ahead and whisper that.
Yeah. So again, everyone, OotiniCast@gmail.com with your tip of the week, and you can win 450 cc.
Yeah. Let's see. So let me. I'm trying to figure out the best way to actually do this. Will it let me? Okay, good. I can whisper this way, I think. Okay, user has turned on block whispers from strangers. So, Lori, if you can whisper OotiniCast, please let me know so I can give you that code. For now, I'm gonna put it here anyway, on the assumption that we'll be able to get it to you some way. But yeah, Lori Pub, if you can whisper OotiniCast, I'll be able to get your Opal Volptilla code. And then let's see, who is getting the pet one?
Oh wait, Kitty thinks it might be a bot.
Could be, I suppose.
Then we've got 510 high.
Okay, 510 high, huh? Let's see.
510 high.
Okay, I'll put that up on as well.
I put it in our stream chat.
Okay, let's see that one.
There he is.
Oh, okay.
Hi, 510 high.
There's 510. Okay, so let me bring the code here.
Well, maybe if we don't hear from her,
we can redo the code later on.
Yeah, we'll redo it. Give it to someone.
Yeah, so this is, and again, 510, that is the new Opal Volptilla pet. So this is the brand new one. The Opal Volptilla is pretty new. It came out earlier this year. The Opal Volptilla pet is literally just a few weeks old. You're one of the only people in the game who have one.
Baby.
Yeah.
And congratulations.
Congratulations, and yeah, so we'll do another one at the end, and if great, and if Lori hasn't gotten back to us, we can redo that code, because maybe she is a bot. I don't know. we do this very, very, very simply. All right, that'll move us on to the mind trap. And because Kitty and I were doing so much duoing together, we decided to ask about it. How often do you do group content with people you know rather than with all random teammates? And so there are 4 options: all or most of the time, sometimes, occasionally or rarely, or never, or I avoid groups. Now, obviously, it would be nice to be able to split up those last 2 into 2 different categories. They are slightly different in some ways, but in this case, at least it lets us know that they're not, they either don't do groups, or they just never, or they never, do anything that would have them meeting up with strangers. Essentially, they treat SWTOR as a single player game, which is fine,
right?
Which is totally cool. Let's see, or they just always do it with randos, which is fine too. Again, it would be nice to be able to split those categories up, but hey, it's all good. For me, it was sometimes, which is actually the lowest percentage. We'll go through the percentages here in just a sec, because I do it some of the time. Sometimes I do with you, Kitty. Sometimes I'll queue up, with someone else I know because I'm streaming, and and we do it that way. Sometimes I'm doing the Jar Jar Joyride, but a lot of the time, I'm just queuing up and getting what I get. So for me, it was sometimes. That was actually the lowest percentage. The winner, if you want to say that, the one with the highest percentage is never, or I avoid groups, which is 40.4% of the 245 votes.
That's really interesting.
Yeah. It's kind of 2 different groups of people, so I could see why it won as well. But also, there's pretty clearly a chunk of people who either are avoiding group content because they don't like dealing with strangers or whatever, or they're intimidated by operations and flashpoints and war zones. There are people like that for sure. Or they, or they just are always queuing up and just with strangers, and they never queue up with people they know, which is totally fine too. Interestingly, second place was the opposite. All or most of the time came in second with 24.9% of the vote. Basically, almost exactly 1/4 of the vote was all or most of the time. I'm queuing up with friends I know. Sometimes it's actually the last. Occasionally or rarely was 20.4% of the vote, so about a fifth. And then sometimes was 14.3%. So that the one I chose is actually the lowest. How about you, Kitty? Where were you?
I chose sometimes because, I mean, I group up with Kitty on the weekends. So that's some of my gaming time.
Right.
But and then sometimes I group up with people in stream, and sometimes I'll PvP. It's extremely random, but it happens.
Okay, so were you sometimes as well then? Is that why?
Yeah, I was sometimes as well. Yeah.
Okay. Yep. Yeah, and some people did respond as well by text. It's always randomers. Small guilds struggle to have more than one or two online at a time, and a lot attract lone wolf players who don't want big guilds and their rules. Fair enough. It's true though. Like some of the really big guilds, like the ones who like win the conquest things every week and stuff like that. Like you have to do certain things to stay as in a part of that group. Like they will enforce that. Like you'll have to do either a certain amount on the one character in them, or if you have multiple characters, you have to do a certain amount overall, or on each character or whatever. And they can get pretty serious about that. Our guild is a little unusual in that we're relatively large, but we're very casual when it comes to stuff like that.
Very casual.
Yeah, like we hardly ever, I say we, but of course Deck and Fear are the real guild leaders, and along with some other folks. But they're usually not bumping people out, like unless we actually need room. And ever since they like boosted the amount of people you can have in the guild, we haven't had to bump anyone out for quite a while. So we're sort of in this weird middle part where there's often multiple people on, but we're very, very casual, and we're not, enforcing any sort of rules about how often you have to be on or how many conquest points you have to do or whatever. Let's see. And then Craig said, I rarely group, but if I do, I want someone in my guild or that I know, which makes sense. So in other words, he doesn't do a lot of group content, but he would be an all or most of the time kind of person because he wants to do it with people he knows. Let's see. Always there for my guildies, but due to time zones, it's difficult to run with them regularly. And yeah, I'm largely a solo player and not part of any guild, so anytime I group, it's always with new people. Fair enough?
Interesting.
Yeah.
I'm always scared of new people. And I used to be really, really shy, and I'd get some social anxiety when I would group up or use the group finder. But now I have a very low tolerance for jerks.
Right. For the BS, yeah.
Yeah.
Has streaming do you feel streaming has helped you loosen up a little bit socially?
Yeah.
Even out of the game, like in face-to-face situations as well?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Nice.
I mean, it's weird. I'm a very solo person. But when I go out and I'm in a group, you'd never know. But at the end, after I come home, I'm like, drained.
Battery drained. Warning, low energy. Yeah, that's true. That's how they say introversion works. So yeah, it's like if you're an extrovert, you actually gain energy from social events, and if you're an introvert, you may enjoy it. You may seem, on the outside, seem to be just as lively as any extrovert, but it ends up draining you. I must be an extrovert because I definitely do feel like if I'm in a social situation for too long, I definitely feel it like after a while. I think I'm a little more on the ambiverted though. I'm not extremely introverted, but I definitely have a limit.
Yeah.
Let's see. So we can get on to, I think, the Cantina Talk now. Yay! We were able to do. Yeah, it's been a few episodes actually since I've done one, but I made sure to do one this time.
This is a good one too.
Yeah, so we've talked about, this is the Cantina Talk is the new-ish segment, which we sometimes do where we pick out a voice actor from the literally hundreds who have voiced for SWTOR over the years. Previously, we've talked about Tara Strong, Nika Futterman, John DiMaggio, Tom Wilson, Darren Norris, Lacey Chabert, and Kath Soucie. This time, it's Darren DePaul, everyone's favorite villain. We love Darren DePaul. He famously voices Valkorion throughout the SWTOR expansions, from Kotfi and even up to Legacy of the Sith, although I think Onslaught was sort of like the big last burst for Valkorion. But apparently he does show up in Legacy of the Sith at some point, because he shows up on IMDb as having a credit there. So, so he is apparently somewhere in Legacy a little bit as well. He's also the tea-loving General Daerun. He's the first boss in Gods from the Machine, Tyth, the God of Rage, which you also meet on Iokath during the solo stuff as well. So at least, even if you haven't done Operations, but if you've done all the solo content, you have seen him do Tyth, the God of Rage. It's like a giant droid. Yeah, and after that, he was also Junker Jot on Mechshaw. So yeah, he's done multiple voices. They clearly love having him back. And
very different, too.
Yeah, exactly. Like, right, you got villains. Valkorion is very controlled. Tyth is all rage. Junker Jot, is what he is. Daerun seems to be very civilized. It's a nice mix. It really is.
Did you ever get the what's his name? The General Daerun. He's a lizard. Yeah. But he's like a Tyrannosaurus Rex, but he likes tea, so it's TEA dash Rex. It's always think of that.
That's funny. I've never thought of that. That's awesome. He does have a little. The head style is very T-Rexy. Yeah. That's funny. Yeah. Okay, so we'll talk a little bit about what he's done. Outside of SWTOR, he's been a prolific voice actor for years. As we've seen before with other actors in the series, he started with regular acting, having a small part on Miami Vice in 1989. That's amazing. You gotta find that. I would love to find that. And he had a few other roles, but then he seemed to take a break. From 1994 to 1992, at least according to IMDb, there are no roles that he took during that period of time. I'd love to ask him what happened at that point. He must have had some other career things going on, I suppose. But he came back with an additional voices credit on the animated movie Ice Age, which I happen to love. It was like my son was like the right age at that period of time, so we watched it a bunch on the DVD, and I don't know exactly what additional voices they were. Well, obviously it wasn't one of the big roles. We know who all those people were. It's one of those first animated movies where like pretty much every main role was like someone who's famous, so that they could make it part of the marketing. But he did apparently additional voices on Ice Age, which I love. And while he's had a few non-voice roles, since then, when he started acting again, since 2002, voice acting has since then become his main thing. His roles have been on the increase during the years. Like from 2002 to 2013, he only had one and sometimes two roles per year. Pretty minimal, really. Whether you're talking about regular acting or voice acting, that's pretty minimal. Then in 2014, he just kind of exploded. He had 7 projects in 2014, including World of Warcraft Lords of Draenor, where he was Black Hand, Exarth, Othar, and Sakrathar, so he's 3 roles on that. He was also Judge Dredd on Judge Dredd Superfiend, which was a TV miniseries in 2014. And he had several voices on Hearthstone and more. And then 2014, that was 7, but every year since then, he's had even more roles than that, and quite a few more in many years since that. He's been J. Jonah Jameson in the Spider-Man video game in 2018. He's had voices in huge video games like Magic the Gathering Arena, Apex Legends, Fallout 76. He's done TV work. For example, he has a bunch of roles on the Stinky and Dirty Show, which I don't even know what that is, but I had to include it because I love the title. He was on 23 episodes of Stinky and Dirty Show. He was on 9 episodes of Jimmy Kimmel Live. Always as voice acting too. So they apparently, like, if they need like a narrator or like someone doing some sort of voiceover, voice something, they bring him in sometimes, which is awesome.
Yeah, that's great.
And in between all this, he's also had big roles such as Zeron Alpha on Three Below Tales of Arcadia, which is on Netflix. He was Sin on Shazam, Reinhardt in Overwatch, and Stonefell in Legends of Vox Machina. I assume it's Machina, maybe it's Machina. I'm afraid I'm not... I haven't seen that, but I know it's a big role because I've actually, outside of IMDb, I've actually seen that mention that he.
Me too.
That he's done that. Like that's a thing. Apparently, it's like a kind of a big thing in that area, which is cool. But best of all, he's a really friendly and kind person. He's appeared at multiple SWTOR cantinas. He always gives as much time as possible to the fan he meets. Like he's always like stretching the amount of time that like they're basically like brooming him out the door because like they have to close the the cantina area for whatever they've rented it for. Like he's always doing that. He's signing autographs. He's very kind. More personally, he also gave us at the OotiniCast several Utini Rages, which we've used heavily through the years at the end of our shows. And he's a pro. Like when he sent us the soundbite, he actually gave us 4 different versions, and they're all excellent. Nice. And
we should use one today.
I can do that, and in fact, I'll play them all. I'll play them all at the end of the show.
Okay.
And you can hear they're like they're all excellent. You could take any one of them and just make it the only one, but we've actually used all 4 of them over the times. But I'll play them all in a row so we can hear him. And he's awesome. So anyway, Darren DePaul, thank you so much, and we do love you, and we can't wait to see what else you do.
every time I see him, he's always in such a good mood that it always lifts my spirits.
I agree.
And he's always so stoked. I've heard stories from a bunch of people that actually got to meet him at cantinas and how approachable he is and how into it he is. So,
I agree. Yeah. I agree. And Starry Saber says, I think the work you did on Valkyrian really helped his career take off even more. I would agree, because that would be around the time, like 2014, like I said, was not only had he come back, but 2014 was like the first year that he like really started doing a lot of projects, and that was pretty close to the time he would have been starting to voice Valkyrian. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised at all if it wasn't a big feather in his cap that helped him get other roles. And and of course he's come back again and again. So anyway, we love him.
A great job in it. Yeah, we are.
Yep. All right, that'll bring us to the Holo feed. And let's see. So the first thing we want to mention is that there's a new short story out called All That's Left. This is I thought it was excellent. A story about Sehar, the Twi'lek Jedi Force user who found the Datacron in the opening video for Legacy of the Sith. We also found out some more since then, but I don't want to get into spoiler territory. But you did see her in the sort of that teaser thing for Legacy of the Sith that they did put out before Legacy of the Sith dropped. Let's see. So, and there's a link to the short story in our show notes, but you can also find it on SWTOR.com, and I believe it's under the news section that it'll say, hey, there's a new short story, and you can go there as well. Let's see. Then the devs were asked, will we be able to skip to start of Legacy of the Sith? So right now, in past expansions, you could sort of skip things. Like you go to your ship and say, okay, now I'm gonna skip and I'm gonna go right to Ossus, and you could skip all the chapters of Coffee and Kotet if you wanted. For instance, you could go straight to Ossus, or later you could even start a little bit later, but you can't start any later than Onslaught. So, and if you can't skip any later than Onslaught, there's quite a bit you need to do in order to get to Legacy of the Sith, because Onslaught takes a while. Then there's like multiple flashpoints and other sort of bits of story. It's like a lot, and I love doing it, but I could see where, like, if you're trying to get to a certain thing, or if you needed to do to be at a certain point so that you could do certain content or whatever with your friends or whatever, and you really needed to be through the story, you'd have to really grind through a lot of stuff. So I can see why people are asking this. Let's see. And they asked, and Eric Musco happened to answer. So anyway, they asked, and Eric essentially, I was wondering if it'd be possible to get an option, either a purchasable token or recognizing an achievement for completing it at least once on each side, to skip all the story related to Onslaught, allow us to start at Legacy of the Sith on alts that aren't as far along as our mains. And it's true, like, that's one of the reasons I haven't done quite as much Legacy of the Sith, is because I do have to go through all the story if I'm going to do that. So I've only done it on like 3 or 4 characters right now.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. Let's see. I have 30 characters and I've only 3 completed everything up to the current story, which that's almost exactly how I am. I have more characters, but not some of them are
you have a lot.
Some of them are older at this point. It doesn't really matter. The other 27 are somewhere between Osis and Echoes of Oblivion. Fair enough. Previously, we were able to bypass all the previous content and start the new story by picking up the mission on our ships. Why aren't we able to do that now? And Eric answered, hey there. Let's see. I think there might be something skipped here. Okay, others in this thread have made some relevant points around things like loyalist saboteur, but there's a bit more to this decision from our side. And it's true, like you could do normal story, but you could also do like saboteur on both sides. So technically there's like 4 sort of main ways to see the story at this point.
Right.
We wanted to avoid having just a bunch of different boost options at character creation, especially to have clear starting points for new and returning players. When looking at the starting points, we chose 3 different points based on each story, known as its own saga. So you have the classic game, which is the class story start, Kaffi, which is the Knights saga, and Onslaught, which is the current saga. So in the same example, you can't just skip straight to Kotet from a boost, just like Legacy of the Sith. All that said, catch-up time is something that will grow as we continue to add more story content in the current saga. I will chat with the team and see if there are adjustments to consider here. Thank you for the feedback.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
I know a lot of people have been talking about that, at least in my chat, wanting or asking if there is a way to skip it.
Right.
And I'm always like, nope, there's not. And that is it's a considerable amount of content
it really
to
is.
go through, and playtime alone, it'll take a chunk of time to get through it.
I agree. Even if you decided, like, because I'm doing stuff on stream, I basically never spacebar. But if you even decided that, I'm going to spacebar it all, it's going to take you a while to get through like all of Onslaught and then Legacy of the Sith. That's a lot of stuff. All right. My son's trying to text me, but I will get back to that him at the end of the show. There was a gear vendor takedown for a short time because of an exploit. They came up with a fix, and this all happened on 5th of August. It was sort of in the middle. They were able to figure out something on their end, but they had to bring everything down for a short time, and then they brought it up. One of those exploits where apparently you can either, for some reason, you can either get a bunch of items that you can then sell, whatever. They didn't really explain exactly what the exploit was, but it seemed to be sort of credit creation related. Anyway, as far as I know. And so they fixed it. It's all done. Which is always nice. It's nice that it sounds like they caught it relatively without exploding the amount of credits like some of the other ones have. And they've been sort of working down ever since because of that. There's another one that I thought was interesting, looking at possible flashpoint balances and difficulty or time required to complete. And then someone was asking, and again, Eric happened to answer this one. Assuming you're running flashpoints to grandmaster to upgrade gear, or even for leveling, there's simply never any reason to do most of the newer ones. Crisis on Umbara, Objective Meridian, and the Anathema Conspiracy are the worst. They are the more difficult, but the bigger issue is that they take orders of magnitude longer than most of the flashpoints for no greater reward. Someone almost always quits the group the moment these pop. A tier below are Traitor Among the Chiss, which is only palatable if you have a stealth that can sneak you to the first boss and past the innumerable trash mobs. And oddly, the Essalus, because it takes forever, even though you can sleepwalk through it. If you're going to have a wide variation in the difficulty level and time invested to complete certain flashpoints, there needs to be corresponding better rewards, and blah, 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 blah. A little bit further, but I think that gets the essence of the question. So Eric answered, hey there, it's like you're an audience plant. This is something we've been very recently talking about, that we want to start spending more time on addressing. Taking content outliers, like flashpoints that are dramatically longer than others, and working to bring them more in line with each other. If I can hijack the thread slightly, we would love to hear your blank flashpoint is too easy, hard, long, or short compared to other content of its type. It said instant content, so it couldn't, not just flashpoints. I assume that would be like, other things as well. And beyond just general feedback about entire content, feel free to get really granular. Bosses that are particularly rough or unfun, travel routes that take too long, and so on. This can be your airing of grievances, but please be specific so we can build actionable feedback from it. I wouldn't expect these changes these to change in the super short term, like the next couple of updates, as it will take time to audit and start making changes. But it is definitely something we have an interest in doing. So there you go.
I love it.
Yep.
I love it.
So not only is that potentially going to be coming relatively soon-ish, it sounds like, not right away, but soon-ish, because it's something that they're working on. It also sounds like they want feedback. So if you have a particular Flashpoint or Uprising or whatever that you
That's awesome.
have a gripe about, you think it's too long, too short, not enough, reward or whatever, this is the time to get back with them on that. Let's see. There was at 7.1 a little map upgrade where you could see sort of like the roads and stuff under the map a little bit before you had actually unlocked the map areas. And this went away. So as it turns out, what happened is they've been working on this, but it wasn't quite ready yet, but it ended up accidentally going out. So they actually took it back out because it's not ready yet. They didn't want it to cause any unwanted bugs or touching on things that they didn't want it to touch on, that sort of thing. But apparently that's one of the things that they are working on, sort of UI / quality of life issues. And for the short time it was up, I thought it was great because as I do a lot of leveling, sometimes it's like you're on, say, Corellia. Name your favorite planet that has like lots of like broken walls or dead ends or whatever, and it looks like you're supposed to go one way because it seems to be the road that is the most direct, and then when you go there, it just doesn't go the way you need it to go. But when those little map, when the map was kind of semi showing the roads underneath, I could tell whether I could make it or not, which is great.
Right.
I really like that as an idea. I hope they do bring it back soon. It's obviously something they're working on, and
I love it.
We'll go from there. All right.
It's such a pain in the behind. Every time I go to Corellia for story, I just go, oh man, navigating this
right, exactly.
This map is hard. And like you said, you can kind of see it, but you can misinterpret what you think the map is going to what information it's going to provide, and it's just a stinker.
Yeah, exactly. So that's basically what they said is, what you're seeing is unintended and incomplete implementation of the quality of life improvement. We are planning a host of improvements to maps, which are currently targeting 7.2, which is the proper version of this change, which would be a part of, and it will be available to test on PTS. Since this wasn't actually supposed to be in this build, we're going to revert the change, and they have in our upcoming bug fix patch coming in the next week or so, which it did. And is to exercise an abundance of caution to ensure that the change doesn't have knock-on effects to maps that haven't reared their head yet, which is fair enough. So it sounds like it's pretty close to being ready, if that's the case, which is nice though. 7.1 modifications. What's available and how to get them. So 7.1 mods are back. You can basically do these missions, and there's been some bugs with the mission givers, but they're working on those. They're called Hide and Zeke in the supply section of the fleet. Mm-hmm. Hide will offer players 4 missions that will open up access to purchase mods. Please note that Hide and Zeke will only offer missions to players who are wearing gear with an item rating of 324 or higher. So not quite where we were at max before 7.1, but pretty close. Anyway, you do the missions, and it unlocks the different mods that they sell. Mm-hmm. So that's how you do that. I'm not sure if I'm going to actually use that because I'm mostly just doing the daily things and just sort of working my gear up that way. Too. Yeah, we'll see. I might need them. We'll check it out, and I might just do 1 or 2 of them just to see, like, what does it give, and what kind of missions are they, and blah blah blah. So
from what I understand, the non-moddable gear is just a little bit better than the moddable gear.
Right.
At this point, so I'm just, I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, and meanwhile, about the maps thing, since people are talking about it in chat, OotiniCast.com has a maps area. Tio, long time ago, put up It was actually called OotiniMaps.com, but since then he's taken it down and he's put it in OotiniCast.com. You basically go to OotiniCast.com, you'll be able to find Ootini Maps there instead, and it basically is all of the maps, at least up to where he was updating it, but it's still like 90% of the game. It's basically like every map. So if you're on Alderaan, you can tell it to do all of Alderaan, or you can tell it to do like the Highlands, or not just the Highlands, but some part of the Highlands.
Oh, that's cool.
It goes very granular all the way down to the little individual maps. So
cool.
Go to OotiniCast.com. The maps are there, and if you're having troubles with on Belsavis or Corellia or whatever other planet, please feel free to do that. As far as these mods and stuff go, I probably will at some point just try out these missions just to see what they're like, how difficult they are. I don't know how complex they are or how long they take, but and then whether the gear is actually worth getting or not.
Right. It
says 328 and 330, so it is pretty much up to date gear. Mm-hmm. I think what I'm probably going to end up doing though is once I have a full set of 330 gear from doing the dailies, I've been just holding on to the boxes because they only give stuff that's side grade. So all you can do is dump them for tech. But I do need a tank set for my mains because they are my DPS mains, but they're also my tank mains in this expansion because of combat styles. Thank you for that, because I think it's pretty awesome. So what I'm going to have to do is, once I've got a full set of 330 gear, make sure it's on, set my gear drop box thing to the tanking one, and then open up all the boxes and hopefully get most, if not all, of the 330 gear. And whatever I don't get,
great idea.
Yeah, whatever I don't get, I'm just going to have to do the old-fashioned way. But yeah, it could work. And maybe getting those last couple bits might be a good time to try Zeke and hide and Zeke. So
hide and Zeke.
That would be probably a good time to try that out and at least see if it makes sense to do it that way.
Yeah.
So yeah. All right. There was 7.1a patch notes. Again, there was 7.1 a little while ago, and then A, mostly bug fixes. So Inquisitors who use autocomplete and rejoin the Empire after the Meridian Complex can now start the Veiled Threats mission on Manon. How they keep tracks of these little things, I don't know. But anyway, one of them got through and they had to fix it. Corrected an issue preventing Legendary Implant's mini shield and locked and loaded from upgrading. So that's good. Let's see. IP-CPT no longer sometimes disappears under the floor when pulled after the group wipes an R4. That sounds awkward.
That sounds crappy.
I've heard that there's several things that can sort of get under the floor sometimes, and it causes issues. So that is something that they've been working on for a while. The important one for me, at least for what I do, is the following Manon daily missions, which is basically all of them, now reward 3 daily resource matrices and 30 tech fragments. The daily Patrol Manon rewards 30 tech fragments, so that's actually higher than a regular 25er like CZ-198 or Black Hole, any of those. It's actually 30 on Manon, so they're going to reward you for doing the new stuff. And then the weekly rewards 25 extra daily resource matrices as well, and also a Noble Decurion distribution chest. So that was good. Spending the last currency of one of the categories only hides the category in the inventory window instead of the whole section. I think what was happening mostly that I saw for that one was the casino chips. If you let's say you hadn't bought any yet and you just bought it, but you got like a drop of an Emperor, so you went to do it. If you spent it, then, and if you looked to see if there was any other or how many chips you had, it just wouldn't show the category at all. Instead of showing 000, they would just kind of disappear, and that apparently no longer happens. And I think that is correct because I haven't seen it happen since 7.1a dropped. Let's see. Do you think you're going to be doing them in non-daily areas?
Yeah, definitely. Now that this is they've implemented this. Oh, and I want some of those decos are pretty cool. So, gotta get that rep, baby. Yep.
Even the first week I got at least a little bit up, and I just went and saw what I could get already. It was like, it wasn't very much percentage-wise, but it was like, oh yeah.
Get some seaweed.
Get some seaweed, exactly.
Kale.
Make ourselves some sushi.
That's right.
All right. Let's see. Digging deeper, and the non-daily area missions are now granted automatically after you finish the Ruins of Null, so that just sort of breadcrumbs you a little better now. Theron, again, so many details they have to keep track of. Theron Shan no longer appears in the cinematic of Digging Deeper if he's dead. Because you can, there's that one point where if you can sort of basically leave him to his death. Let's see. The strap tuning is now correctly displayed when using blaster pistols. The strap tuning is an interesting one. I don't know why I would ever want to put it on a pistol because it seems so weird. Like, why would a pistol need a strap anyway? But it does work now. It actually looks pretty cool on on the rifles and the sniper rifles and even the assault cannon. Yeah,
I use it a lot.
Yeah, even the assault cannon's sort of interesting. I can't imagine.
It makes sense.
Yeah, I can't imagine it on a pistol.
On your back, you
yeah, right. Strap. Yeah, usually I guess we glue it or we put magnets under our skin or something.
Yeah,
I don't know how.
Surgically implanted magnets. That's got to be good for the body.
Yeah.
Unless you get free nails when you go to the hardware store.
That's right. That's right. After a few years of that, your back is all stretched out like a stegosaurus. All right. Yeah. Players are no longer blocked during Soa's encounter in Eternity Vault Operation Story and Veteran mode. Apparently that was... it was weird. They said like there was bugs that came back and... Anyway, so... It's funny how these things can happen even on, it's like some of the oldest content, but something popped up and they figured out what it is and now you can get back into it okay. The teleports in the Imperial missions on Manon are now working correctly. So that's nice. Players will no longer need to exit and return in order to continue the path, so that's good. I did notice that. I remember when I did that the other day, it was like, oh, that's not working. And I had to come back. It was a bit of a pain. It wasn't the end of the world. It was the sort of thing where you can just there's a workaround, but it'll be nice that's working properly now. All right. Let's see. There is Bryant Wood of the devs team did follow up on something because Hyde and Zeke, the ones who are doing these mod missions, apparently not updating properly. So at least for some people, so they're asking people for information. Were you Republic or Imperial? Do you remember any information about the apparently 330 artifact item you can deconstructed? And what are the origin story and discipline of the character? So they always have to track down exactly what's causing these things. And let's see. Bug. Another bug that I thought was interesting was, bug, we keep seeing dead people. So what's happening apparently in certain operations is... people are showing up as dead even though they're alive. So they have grayed out health bar and their character nameplate is grayed out. If you move close to them, you can even get the res cursor. Although trying to use it gets a red text that they are not dead. So this operation, they saw it happen to 3 people last night, and it was definitely happening more often to one of them who was shown as dead for about half the raid. The people it affected would come back to life seemingly at random. They can still use all their abilities while looking dead. So the game knows they're dead, but somehow other players maybe think they're showing as dead to other players only. But somehow the game knows that they're not dead if they're able to use their abilities and move around and such.
Right. It's just to mess with the healers.
Yeah, that's interesting. And they said it's mostly just funny, but it does make it difficult to heal people when you can't see their health bar, which is the case, because it's like when do you heal them if you can't see their health bar because it's all gray? You presume they're still alive. Hopefully you have really good comms. I think at that point you'd have to be you'd have to have recognize people's voice, and you'd have to just say, okay, if you're a DPSer, I'm just going to heal you if you're low. Shout out if you're low. Or something like that. I don't know, but it would be much more difficult. Anyway, so Jackie Coe answered back on this. We're currently looking into this and investigating. Right now, we haven't been able to reproduce the issue on our side, so the team is interested in knowing the following information. Do all group members see the same player as dead and in that same state? And how did the player or affected player die? And thanks. And then they got back to him later on. but I don't think we need to know more about that. But I think it's an interesting and unusual bug that they are now working on.
Yeah, I've never heard of that one.
Yeah. So the person basically said there doesn't seem to be a common way to reproduce the bug. It is random. However, it happens often enough to be an issue. I experience it at least once every raid. Raid meaning operation. This was an issue at 7.0, became worse in 7.1. In 7.0, I experienced it in blah, blah, blah. However, now I experience this bug in all operations, all difficulties. Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, a couple more things. Not too much more, but there's a few more things. One is that Swotorisa just recently did put out a guide to the Nightlife event. It's on YouTube. It's on her. Right now, it's the most recent one on her page, Swotorisa. There's a link to it in the show notes as well. And like usual, she does a bang up job. Really good, really solid. I still think she's presumably still being a little like negative on the Mega version. Like she definitely thinks like you should avoid the Mega version on the fleet.
Right, yeah.
And yeah, Jackie seems to think that it's designed to maybe make it like, faster, but not be that much more expensive than doing it any other way. But Swotorisa says her advice is just do the regular Nightlife event and kind of avoid the mega one.
That's what I've heard too from people in chat. That
I might do it at the very end again. Like I did 150 million chip just to be able to say I did it, and I got one of the claw creatures out of it. That's how I got one of the 2 claw critters. That's how bad my luck has been. Like of the 2 claw critters, which is like one of the only things I've really gotten out of this. One of them I spent 150 million credits to get. Yeah.
What a bargain.
But they actually have like Mega Smuggler and Mega Kingpin as well. And you can actually do it kind of the regular way, just with way more expensive chips, as I understand it. Mm-hmm. But if I do that, it will be right at the end. If I haven't gotten it any other way, maybe. For now, I'm not going to be doing that. But anyway, in any case, she has a very nice guide to it on YouTube. The other cool thing, this just came out today. This was literally just a few hours ago, I believe. Charles Boyd, who did leave as creative director of SWTOR not long ago, was able to finally, but this is, again, only a week ago, he left officially, like his last day at SWTOR was. He's able to announce that today was my first day at Skeleton Key Development. Honored to join this great team and help build an amazing new game development studio for Wizards of the Coast. So basically, Skeleton Key is the new video game studio based in Austin, Texas. So apparently he didn't have to move, which is awesome. Led by industry veterans. And they only announced Skeleton Key itself on July 26th. So this is a very new little team that they're putting together. Led by industry veterans, we were thrilled to join the growing family of digital game studios at Wizards of the Coast. So, we don't know exactly what this means. They were not able to announce anything else. However, Charles Boyd, his bio on Twitter does now say creative director at Skeleton Key Development. So apparently he has the title creative director. So there you go. It's still creative directing over there. What this means, I don't know. They do have a fair number. Like basically, Wizards of the Coast is known for mostly 2 things, and obviously they're going to try to make more IPs. But they're basically known for Magic: The Gathering and Dungeons and Dragons, which they bought from TSR quite a while ago now. It feels recent to me, but that was only because I was, playing D&D in 1980. It was TSR for so long for me, but it was really like 15, 20 years ago that they bought it. Anyway. So they're basically known for Magic: The Gathering and Dungeons & Dragons. And they have a fairly good number of Magic: The Gathering video games. Like maybe Charles is going to be doing more Magic: The Gathering stuff, or maybe take it in a new direction, because I believe most of the Magic: Gathering video games are basically variations of Magic: The Gathering. Like, you actually play Magic: The Gathering, the card game, only as a video game. Usually. I think there's a couple exceptions. Maybe they're going to do more on that, but maybe make an RPG set in the Magic: The Gathering universe. But I would be excited if they were doing more D&D stuff, just because that's way closer to my heart. Although I have played Magic: The Gathering a bit. As a long-term D&D player, I think it would be awesome if they did more D&D games. They had an MMO. I think it's still technically around.
It's still going.
It's still going and all that. I played it back in beta years and years and years ago, and a tiny bit once it had launched, but I haven't really played it for a long time. They've had Neverwinter Nights and some other great even video games, but not a lot of them. And I'm kind of secretly I'm hoping that if that they're going to do some more D&D stuff. Either that, or maybe they're doing, something. Maybe, like I said, maybe they're going to be making a new IP altogether. We don't know, or who knows? Maybe even some mix of Magic the Gathering and D&D. That would be cool too. Mm-hmm. So we have no idea what they're doing, but I'm glad he seems to be thrilled and happy, and I'm thrilled and happy for him. He did such great work on SWTOR for us over the years, and we're happy that he's doing something that excites him. And we'll see how that goes. And he didn't even, like I said, he didn't even have to move. It's in Austin, Texas.
Yeah, I know.
It's like
that's perfect.
Just different commute. That's all it is.
Across the street. BioWare.
Yeah.
That's
so
great. Well, good.
Yep. And
I'm excited to see what comes out of there.
Okay. Yeah. So am I. And obviously, it'll be a while. I mean, we don't know how long the actual company has been working on this, but they only announced the actual team in July, so that seems pretty early on in the process ish. You know what I mean? So, I mean, I'm sure at this point, if they're announcing it at all, they probably have several projects that are reasonably far enough along that they're definitely going to be turned into games or whatever. That's what I would assume, because why else would you start to announce the team at all if it's just in the fuzzy idea phase? So I'm thinking they're a little bit past that, and they're sort of going to start.
They got a game plan,
right? A game plan for their game plans. So I'm excited to see what happens with that. It'll be neat to see, Charles doing something else. We'll have to see which one because creative director, maybe he's touching multiple games there, or maybe that's going to be focused on one main game. We don't know, but it'll be fun to see what he does.
Yeah, definitely.
So, yep. And let's see, Kidley is saying a little background. Christian Daly is the vice president and head of the studio, former BioWare executive producer of Dragon Age, which is cool. Camden Agar, director of production, former development director at BioWare. And so it sounds like a group of EA and BioWare people who are making their own studio. Yeah. Well, you say making, great. Yeah. I mean, definitely EA BioWare for sure. Obviously, they have to have Wizards of the Coast involved. They can't just take their name. They're definitely, if they are making their own studio, it's with their blessing. Obviously, maybe that was the idea. Maybe Wizards of the Coast, looked around trying to figure out where they could find enough people to actually make a team, and found some folks from BioWare and EA who are willing to make the move.
Cool.
But anyway, that will be interesting. Anything else, Kitty?
Yeah. Nope, that's it on my end.
All right. Should I try playing it live here, the various Utini Rages?
Yeah.
All right.
I would love to. I haven't heard it in a long time.
Go ahead and figure out another couple people to give codes to. And since we didn't, I don't think we ever heard back from that one person who might have been a bot, ended up being a bot. So let me, I have to pull up the files.
Randomizing.
Get that out of there. So before you do that, let's go ahead and do the Utini Rages.
Okay.
It shouldn't take too long to pull these up. So here's okay. Actually, let me pull them all up real quick. That way I can swap between them real fast, and people can hear the differences a little more easily. All right. So here's Utini Rage 1.
Utini Rage.
And then
no, I couldn't hear it.
Oh, okay. You can't. Okay, you won't. You'll have to hear it later. I'm sorry.
Okay, that's okay. That's okay.
I don't know how to hook it through Discord for you. But that was Utini Rage 1. Okay, I'll do Utini Rage 1 just so we can hear the differences again in a row.
Utini Rage.
All right, and here comes Utini Rage 2.
Utini Rage.
And then Utini Rage 3.
Utini Rage.
And 4.
Utini Rage.
Love it. All right. Anyway, so yep. Anytime anytime Kitty hasn't said it, or we haven't, no one else has said Utini Rage, I always just have those to pop in. And of course, for years we did do that. But I always like it when Kitty does it too, of course. But it's fun that Darren DePaul was nice enough to do that for us. He's a great guy, and
yeah, he is.
And I, as you can tell, like when you listen to those four, like they're all excellent. They're all professional quality. They're all well done, and they're all different. Like they have different emphases, different sort of style.
Mm-hmm. Right.
One's a little more evil, one's a little more angry, one's a little more aggressive. Like, it's awesome. Yeah, the fourth. That's your favorite, Evans, is the fourth. I like that one too. I like them all though. This is one of those things where it's like I don't really have a favorite. I think they're all really cool. All right, so Kitty, go ahead and do. Let's see. Go ahead and let me get over the prize codes. Go ahead and let's do this one. We'll redo the Lori Pub one since Lori Pub didn't get with us. Let's see who else we can give this to.
Okay.
This will be this is for the mount.
We've got Pendraco.
Ah, okay. Pen. Okay.
Put his name in chat there.
All right.
And then we've got.
Okay, wait. Okay, hang on. Will this be the other mount, or will this be the pet?
We did mount, pet, mount. Let's make a pet.
Okay, so we'll do a pet next, and then we'll do one more mount too. Okay.
We've got Starry Saber.
Starry. All right. Let me get Starry her code. This is for the pet. Whoop whoop. And Whisper Starry. Whoop. All right, and there's the pet. And then one more for the mount.
We've got Gator Skull 1289.
Okay. Let's see. Can you type that one up?
Yeah,
Because
I'm putting it in chat right now.
Okay. Let's see. Gator. I think I saw. Oh, yeah, 1289. There we go. Oh, let me just re-maximize that for the chat. Okay.
Nope, they're all bots.
Let's see if I can usually find it this way too. Thought I saw Gator earlier though. There we go. Yeah, this one's not blocking it, so there we go. There we go. Are you there, Gator? I'll just send the code anyway. If it doesn't work, we can try giving an extra one next time or whatever. Boop. All right. So let's see. Let me get back to the show notes. And I think that's it, Kitty. So tomorrow, tomorrow hopefully you'll be rocking and rolling on the 2-computer rig, and you'll go from there.
That's the way it's gonna be.
Excellent.
I'm looking forward to it.
Perfect. Then that's a show. You can email questions and comments about the show to OotiniCast@gmail.com. Follow us on Twitter using @OotiniCast. You can find contact details for us on our website, OotiniCast.com, which includes how to subscribe using iTunes, Stitcher, and the rest. We record the show live bi-weekly on Tuesdays, 4 p.m. Pacific, by streaming at twitch.tv/OotiniCast. Our theme song is Doomsday by Jean-Paul Zogby. Thanks to the chat room, and let's see. And we'll see you next show.
Bye, everybody. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, let's see. And who should we raid?
Right.
I have to get over to the creator dashboard.
What do we got? Smokey's on. I think we got him last time.
Okay.
He's always good. But I don't know if we want to...
Let me see. Smokey1313?
Yep.
All right. Let's go ahead and do that. Here we go.
Smokey!
Thanks for coming. And, we'll see you next time. We're going to keep giving... We have more of these codes, too. We'll plan on giving those out each episode. Because it's fun.
Yeah, it is fun.
And it's really nice because these pets... actually, the pet especially is really, really fun. I like them both. The Opal Volptilla mount is really fun too. The pet is like really big, but also super cute. So yeah, definitely awesome. we're ready to raid, so let's go say hi to Smokey1313. Thanks for coming, and here we go. Okay, and as soon as it says it's done, I will stop the stream and the recording. Yep, there we go. Stopping the stream, stopping the